Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Terry from On the Hot Podcast. Today, this will be episode 79 for you guys today, watching and listening. This week's episode is just going to be a solo episode, just your host only. Of course, this episode is going to be coming on all four of our platforms: our Instagram account, our Facebook account, our YouTube account, and our Apple Podcast account. So let's go ahead and dive into the first segment of episode 79 for you guys today. I'll be sharing what I believe which team is the best team in the NFC conference today. And as I record this video, as I speak it, when you look at the teams that's out there in the NFC right now, on an unbiased opinion, I believe that the Dallas Cowboys are the best team in the NFC conference. Now, before you guys overreact when you watch and listen to this, I believe that they are the best team. Do they have the record to show it? No, they are a 9-3 team, but when you look at that compared to the rest of the NFL, that's a top 5 team. When you talk about the best teams in the NFL, they're 9-3. They're not in first place in the NFC East. They're in second place behind the 11-1 Philadelphia Eagles. But the Dallas Cowboys, I believe, over the last few weeks have separated themselves as being the best team in the NFC conference, and I'm going to discuss that, break that down piece by piece. So, and Eagles, they're obviously have the best record in the NFL. They're 11-1 at this point, currently first place in the NFC conference, and have the first seed if the playoffs started today, I should say, in the NFC conference, and they're currently in first place in the NFC East. But they do own a victory over us, a victory that came Week 6 Sunday night. They did beat us. We didn't have Dak Prescott out there. We had Cooper Rush out there, who was red hot going into that game. There's no excuses, but just turned the ball over 3 times when we played them Week 6 on that Sunday night game in the beginning of the season. Well, this is a completely different Dallas Cowboys team. They flipped the script since the Philadelphia Eagles beaten them. They were a team led by their defense. Now they have their offense. They're a top 5 offense, which I'm going to get to in a few moments. But now they're a cohesive team that could beat you offensively and that could beat you defensively at the same time in the same ball game. So let's talk about the Eagles. They don't look as dominant in what they really did in the first half of the NFL season when they started off 8-0, one of the best teams in the best team at the time in the National Football League. But over the last few weeks, I've seen the flaws in the Philadelphia Eagles. When you break down their loss in that Monday night game against the Washington Commanders, when they couldn't get the running game going, when they played down from behind at the half, when they couldn't do everything that they wanted to, the RPO game wasn't working. They couldn't control the clock management. They were getting the ball stolen from them. What the Washington Commanders were giving them the own taste of their own medicine in that game. I saw a flaw there, and this is the one thing I'm going to talk about right here, right now. When they beat the Indianapolis Colts by 1 point a few weeks ago, that same Indianapolis Colts team, 17-16, that is led by Jeff Saturday, Matt Ryan at the starting quarterback position, still Jonathan Taylor at the running back position, still got Stephon Gilmore, who is one of the best cornerbacks in the National Football League. He's still out there. They still have a pretty good pass rush as well. The offensive line is pretty good, but they're underachieving this season. That same Dallas Cowboys team played that same exact team Sunday night when the Philadelphia Eagles only beat them 17-16. The Dallas Cowboys put up 33 unanswered points against the Indianapolis Colts in that game. Won that game 54-19. Heading into the fourth quarter, that game was a 21-19 game where either team still could have won that ball game. And I will admit it, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan myself. And Dallas Cowboys fans out there can be nauseating. They can be overwhelming at times, believing that every year is our year. But let's get down to the truth about it. When the Philadelphia Eagles beat the same exact team that the Dallas Cowboys beat 14-19, NFL analysts want to tell lies, want to speak nothing good about the Dallas Cowboys. They are the nauseating ones. They don't speak the truth when the Dallas Cowboys do their thing. They praised Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts for beating the same Indianapolis Colts team. But when the Dallas Cowboys do it in a dominating fashion, it doesn't mean anything. They were supposed to do this to this team. Well, you praise one team because they're 11-1 and they're not the Dallas Cowboys. But when the Dallas Cowboys do it, it doesn't mean anything. So pick one. The world just doesn't like to see this team win. And I saw, and even though you can say that the Green Bay Packers did beat the Cowboys, I saw a flaw. I saw a lot of flaws in that win and that Sunday night game a few weeks ago when they did play the Green Bay Packers. Did they win that game? Yes, but there was a lot of flaws defensively. This defense does not look the same. But I will give them their props. They did handle business at home and put a beat down on a pretty good Tennessee Titans team this past weekend. But regardless of that game over the last 3 weeks, when you remove this past game from this past weekend, the Philadelphia Eagles just have not looked like the best team in the NFL, have not looked like themselves, especially starting after that undefeated season. I just think at this point in the season, the Dallas Cowboys are a better team than the Philadelphia Eagles. Then you talk about the next big dog, the next big team in the NFC, when you talk about the Minnesota Vikings, who are currently 10-2, currently sitting first place in the NFC North. Guess what? The Dallas Cowboys took care of business on the road against Minnesota a few weeks ago. Came into their house and put up a 40 piece. A good dominating performance. I still believe the best dominating performance of the NFL season. The Dallas Cowboys came in and stomped the brakes off the Minnesota Vikings. Did it offensively. Did it defensively. They couldn't get anything done. So that proves to me that they are a better team. And when you do that on the road, that's a dominating statement. And the Minnesota Vikings couldn't even score a touchdown against the Dallas Cowboys in that game. Won that game 40-3. Then you have the San Francisco 49ers, who are a legit football team ran by Kyle Shanahan. They're legit offensively. They're legit defensively. But what you have to take into account consideration is now the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to miss time with a foot injury. At first, after that game, after their win against the Miami Dolphins on Sunday, it was reported that Jimmy Garoppolo would miss the rest of the season with a broken foot injury. Now they are saying Jimmy Garoppolo is not a season-ending injury, and he could be back within the next 7 to 8 weeks. That means bad news for the rest of the NFC conference, because minus Tom Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo has the most playoff experience with all these quarterbacks coming into the postseason. However, you still have Mr. Irrelevant, the final overall pick in the 2022 draft, and Brock Purdy taking over at the helm at the quarterback position. Is he really you can't bank on Jimmy Garoppolo coming back. By that time, it will be divisional round weekend. Even if the San Francisco 49ers could pull off a win with Brock Purdy in a wild card matchup, can they do that? Time will tell. So 49ers just jumped off of potentially going right back to the Super Bowl where they were a few years ago. Now that Jimmy Garoppolo is out of the picture, Brock Purdy takes over, a rookie. Anything is possible in the NFC. That makes me think that the San Francisco 49ers become the third best team in the NFC. Fourth best team in the NFC conference. Now the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo will be gone, missing some time. So let's talk about why the Dallas Cowboys are the best team in the NFC conference. This offense has been unstoppable since Dak Prescott came back Week 7 against the Detroit Lions. When he's came back, they have a record of 5-1. They're averaging over 30 points per game. Have been the best offense in the league since Dak Prescott has returned. And this is nothing new for Dak Prescott. There's a lot of people out there that don't think the best about Dak Prescott, but at the end of the day, he puts up elite numbers like the guys that the world raves over, like a Josh Allen, like a Joe Burrow, like a Patrick Mahomes. Dak Prescott has the numbers to prove he should be in that category with those guys. He's just missing the playoff wins. But this is nothing new to Dak Prescott, leading one of, if not the top offense in the National Football League. You look at what they did when they went 8-8 back in the 2019 season. The Dallas Cowboys still had the number 1 ranked offense. Early in the 2020 season, in the first 4.5 games that Dak Prescott played, this offense was the best offense in the National Football League. And last year, in the 2021 season, the Dallas Cowboys had the best offense in the National Football League. So this is nothing new for Dak Prescott. He does this on a yearly basis, but people don't want to give him his flowers when flowers should be due to this man. And the Dallas Cowboys are now rolling offensively. They have found their identity with passing, with being able to be a consistent football team, I should say, by passing the ball. Last year, the problem with the Dallas Cowboys was Kellen Moore would get pass-happy play calling wise. Now he knows how when to switch it back and forth from the passing game and the running game. Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard have been, they have been the best 1-2 punch of the running back position this NFL season. You get your speed, dynamic plays with Tony Pollard. You get your heavy running strength plays with Ezekiel Elliott. I think that's the best 1-2 punch of the running back position currently. And they have CeeDee Lamb at the wide receiver position. They have Michael Gallup at the wide receiver position. They have a great, talented tight end group that doesn't get talked about much. I think they have one of the best tight end groups in the National Football League. We talk about Dalton Schultz. We talk about Ferguson. This is a great tight end group that the Dallas Cowboys have, and they use it in their advantage with play action plays to get the offense rolling on a weekly basis. The defense has looked more dominant every single week. They lead the league in sacks, takeaways, and touchdowns allowed this season. So that is the key ingredient. You want to be a great offensive football team. You want to be a great defensive football team. When I just compared them to the Philadelphia Eagles, you can say that their offense might be a little bit better than ours, but guess what? Since Dak Prescott came back, we put up more points than their offense has. You can't say our defense has looked better than theirs because their defense has looked a little suspicious, minus that Tennessee Titans game over the last 3 to 4 weeks. Same thing could be said with Minnesota Vikings. They have a loaded roster offensively with weapons, but their defense is one of the worst defenses in the National Football League. Now that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be going out of the picture, we don't know what Brock Purdy is going to bring to the table on a weekly basis. So that is a reason why I do believe that the Dallas Cowboys are the best team in the NFC Conference right now. And this is a team that I'm going to say right now, I actually legit have a chance to make it to at least the NFC Conference Championship, NFC Championship game this year, due to the fact that the NFC is wide open. We don't know what to expect in the NFC this year. I really truly believe that I'm really thinking about a matchup that sounds pretty good on paper right now between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles in an NFC Championship game. But if this team doesn't make it to where I believe their expectations could be, due to the fact of their history, they're going to beat themselves in January like they did last year when they had all those penalties. They didn't want to run the ball. They didn't want to be a conservative offense. They just wanted to be pass happy. The defense was making mistakes. I can see this team going really far. The defense is there. This is the best defense that the Dallas Cowboys have had in nearly 20 years. That's how good this defense has been. Since I've been alive, this is the best defensive roster and the best defense that this team has had. This is one of the best offenses that I have watched as a Dallas Cowboys fan over the years. This team has the expectations to go far. They're 9-3 already. Are no doubt a top 5 team in the National Football League right now. But this team is going to go as far as what, like I said weeks ago, as far as what Dak Prescott can bring them to, and as far as Mike McCarthy can bring them to. That's going to be the tail of the tape of how the Dallas Cowboys season ends this year, riding off their franchise quarterback and riding off their head coach. But that is the team that I believe is the best team in the NFC Conference currently. I just believe that the Dallas Cowboys are the better team over the Philadelphia Eagles, over the Minnesota Vikings, and over the San Francisco 49ers at this very moment.